Welcome to Shop Squad's Now You Know, a podcast that brings you compelling conversations about today's technical training resources. For information, visit shopsquadonline.com. Hi again, everybody. I'm Doug Kaufman with Shop Owner Magazine, and welcome back to NGK's Now You Know podcast. This is the podcast designed to help introduce Shop Squad to the next generation of technicians and shop owners involved in maintaining and improving vehicle performance. Today, I'm pleased to welcome, speaking of performance, a couple of experts in that field. We've got Randy Meyer and Megan Meyer from Randy Meyer Racing. Guys, thanks for joining me today. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the team. Give me a history of the team, your involvement in racing, and where things are going right now.
Well, okay. One, thanks for having us on there. I appreciate that. You guys take your time out as well as, to be able to makes us feel good that you want to talk to us and stuff. So I started the team started racing back about 1978, roughly, with a little front engine dragster with a small block Chevy in it, as local racetracks in the Midwest, and kind of bracket raced for 3 or 4 years, and kind of decided that I really wanted to go faster and be a little more challenged at bracket racing. So then in 1982, 83, I built a rear engine dragster from scratch, because back then we had no money and no nothing, so we couldn't afford anything. So I just would build everything myself. I always build all my own motors till this day and stuff, but most of the frames and chassis I did myself. Built most of my trailers until just recently. So, it's just, a lot of people don't really realize where we started, which was absolutely nothing. Grew up on a little small farm with 10 kids. So there was hardly any money for food, much less anything else. So when I left the farm in Indiana and came out to Kansas to visit my oldest brother, I never went back home, and kind of got involved in drag race a little bit as something to do on weekends, because I was getting a little bit bored. And so I did that. And then in 83, I won my first world championship and a handful of races with American Hot Rod Association at the time and stuff, and did that for, I think, till about 87. And then every year I'd build a new car and try to improve on what I had and build all new stuff and sell my stuff at the end of the year and use that money to improve. And then in 88, I built a brand new top fuel dragster and thought I would challenge myself with that, and got off to a decent start. And then late in the year was at Dallas Motorplex down in Ennis, was racing and was qualifying next to Eddie Hill, and had a really bad accident and destroyed my new car at the time. So I just decided on the way home from the racetrack, it was a long drive and had nothing else. So I decided that, one, I'd gonna have to build a new car, but number two, I was gonna have to make some change in my life if I wanted to get up to the top tier of drag racing and stuff. So I went and quit my job and started my own business, which is a truck repair shop, which I still have today, as well as we have our main business now is we build wreckers and tow trucks. So a lot of the towing equipment in the Midwest comes out of my place. So that's kind of what my background is in that. And then in 2002, I was approached by let me back up a little bit. I raced top fuel till about 1986 or 7. I'm sorry, 96 or 97 roughly. And then I took a little bit of break when I had her other daughter, Rachel, because we had her hands full, and I moved my business and built a new shop and had a lot going on. So I took a little break from fuel racing, and decided that it was too much for a small family guy to support my family in the business. So I took a break from racing. And then a couple of years later, I went back and I did a fuel racing. I thought that would be a good challenge and a nice niche for me. And so we did that for a while, and I won a race in my first NHRA race. And then I got approached by some people that had some money that wanted to sponsor a driver, but didn't have a car or team, and wanted to know if I would let someone drive my car if they brought money and sponsored it. And took me about 2 minutes to figure that out, that's a lot better deal than me paying out of my own pocket. So So I did that in '02, and it kind of woke up, and we won some races. And in 2003, a guy come to me, wanted to do a full schedule by the name of Alan Bradshaw, and we did, and we ended up winning the world championship on NHRA. And then after that, I raced not really full time anymore for a while because I was really growing my business, and the kids were in school and everything, and so we didn't race full time until about time when Megan decided to go racing stuff. So we just kind of, you got to take care of business, and you got to know what your priorities are and stuff. So the business was really growing good, and so I just focused on that for a long time, and then Megan come on board, and I seen where she was doing a good job driving, and then she went out and found a bunch of money, and then I said, okay, we'll race a little bit more now, and sold one of my other business I had, and so it took a little bit off my plate, and proved to be a good move because she obviously ended up winning 2 championships, and then her younger sister Rachel the next year drove, and she won, and so that's kind of where we're at today. And today Julie's driving full time, and I've got Hunter Green that's driving. He just won the big race, Topeka, his first national event. So, probably one of the things I'm most proud of is I've had a lot of different people drive my cars since 2002, and I think pretty much just about every one of them has won at least one race minimum. There's only been 1 or 2 that maybe didn't win a race, but so that's something I'm pretty proud of, to be able to do that, make these new drivers and drivers that can't afford a full team, give them opportunity to go out and win a national or win a race and stuff on NHRA level. So so that made me feel pretty good, and that's my future now with the girls not racing full time, is to see how many more new people I can bring to the sport and put a smile on their face that they're going to have for hopefully a long time.
Absolutely. Now, you raced originally Top Fuel, and then you switched back to alcohol, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I bracket raced. I run blowing alcohol, won a championship. I run Top Fuel. I went to several finals, never did win a race. And then I took a break, and then when I came back, run A Fuel in the Top Alcohol class. Yes.
Got it.
Which is what I still run today.
So when you ran bracket racing back in the old days, what were you running? What did you start with?
So I had a little short front motor dragster. I brought the frame that was wrecked and took it home and fixed it. And then I just went and got an old block out of the junkyard and an old set of heads that didn't hold water that nobody wanted, because I didn't run any water. I was one of the first guys back then not run water, and people thought I was crazy. I said, well, don't need to with alcohol, because sit there and let it run forever to warm up. I said, we're only going 1/4 mile. So it didn't take me long to figure out I can run stuff that was cracked. That's all I could afford. But a little small block Chevy with a little power glide in a front motor car. We run 850s. We was really pretty fast for its day for a small block Chevy and stuff, but it was just lightweight. I was a little bit lighter weight then too.
Got it.
A little better shape.
Yeah. Yeah. You and the car, right? You were racing divisional races at that time. When did you go national when you were racing against Eddie Hill? Those kinds of days?
That was a national event. When we run Top Fuel, all the races were national events on Top Fuel, because they don't have division and regional races for Top Fuel back then. So yeah, all the Top Fuel stuff. We run some IHRA and some NHRA both.
Got it. Now Megan, let's talk about you. Number one, how did you convince your dad to let you drive? Did you start maybe junior dragsters? Where did you get your start?
Yeah, I started with junior dragsters as 2004, and so I was 10 years old, and my little sister Rachel was 8 years old, which at that time was the minimum age to start. And we found a family that was local to the Kansas City area, and it was 2 sons. They were aging out, and so we were able to purchase cars, all the extra motors, parts, tools, everything they had. We took all of it on I remember we brought it home on a rollback truck, because that's what we had. We didn't have a trailer for it back then. And so we just used a tow truck for a couple times to go race at the track in Kansas City. And I remember I got runner-up at my first race and then won my second race. And so I was hooked since then. I had pretty good career with the junior dragsters. I won a couple track championships at the track in Kansas City. And while he was out racing, doing the NHRA stuff, my sister and I would either have our mom take us to the track, or we'd have to find a family friend to take us, or, as soon as you turn 16 and I could drive the truck and trailer, then, my sister and I would kind of on our own doing it. And that's, one of the things my dad always taught us was to work on the cars on our own, make sure we know all the ins and out of it. If we needed to change clutch belt or anything like that, we were able to do it either at the track or when we were home at the shop. And, we would work nights and weekends on his stuff and outside of sports, and we did cheerleading and dance and 4-H and all that. So yeah, I did junior dragsters until I was 18, and then I moved up to the super comp class and raced that for about 6 years while I was graduating from high school into college. And my sister and I went to the same school with a drag strip that's about 20 minutes from campus. And that was one of the main reasons we went there, but also because it's a really good school and we had other family that attended there too, which they were also in drag racing. And so, again, we were just on our own at that time. So that was really when my dad's rental car program took off with all the multiple drivers coming in, and he was still driving at that time as well. And so, and then my sister and I were down at college. We weren't living at home anymore. And so if we wanted to go race, we'd have to do everything on our own. And I think that's one of the biggest things that sets us apart from other teams is that we did, move away from home. We took the truck and trailer with us. We had to find a lot to store it in and find time to work on our cars outside of classes and, really get dedicated with the sport of drag racing. I graduated in 2015 and I did 2 races that summer in the Top Alcohol Dragster class. And one of the agreements that my dad and I had was that I wasn't going to race until I graduated from college in the Top Alcohol class. And so we spent a couple years. He would just let me come like a Monday after one of his races during the summer. I would, I'd be there for the weekend working on the cars with them. And then Monday I'd get my chance to hop in the car and drive and make some laps and get some seat time. And then officially got my license 2015 and did 2 races. And I remember the first race I runnered up again. And then the second race I lost in the semifinals. But at that time, my dad was still racing too. And the way how it lined up on the ladder, we were on opposite sides. So if both of us would have made it to the final round at those 2 races, we would have ran each other. But just didn't end up working out that way. And I think that was one of your last races. And so then he retired from driving. And then 2016, I took the reins and did 5 years full-time driving professionally with him.
Megan, when you talk about doing the maintenance yourself, you're doing it all. You're running your race career, you and your sister, on your own. It's
Yes.
It's a pretty fascinating story right there. What school was it? Did they have the drag racing part of the school, or was it just convenient?
No, it was just convenient there. So we attended Pittsburgh State University in Southeast Kansas in Pittsburgh, and it's a small school. It's just a Division II school, but they do have a really an excellent technology program there, and so it contains graphic design, which is what I went to school for, construction, technology education, engineering, which is what my sister went to school for, and automotive. And so I know they have an excellent technology program there, and my sister and I absolutely loved our time going there. And all the staff was super supportive of us. If we'd have to leave class early or take some days off to go racing, they were okay with it.
That is awesome. So let's talk about the building of the building of the cars, the building of the program. Randy, talk about your history. Were you an engine builder to begin with? Did you learn the technology that goes into it on the fly?
No, I had went to when I was in high school, they had a little automotive class, but I was doing motor work at the home, working on a lot of the farm equipment stuff is kind of where I learned. And my dad had absolutely zero mechanical experience. So most of my brothers and I, we just kind of learned how to figure out how, because back then you didn't call service people come out and work on your stuff. You just figured it out and you patched it. And the old phrase of a lot of baling wire, that was very true in our case because we had no money to fix it right. So we did a lot of patching. But no, it just kind of one of the things that came to me, I think, at an early age as far as, and part of one of the things that probably was a good bad thing is I never backed down from a challenge. So the bigger the challenge, the more I jumped into it. But I had no, I mean, I barely graduated high school, so I don't have very much of an education other than what I taught myself along the way. And, I would, when I take something apart, I would just observe it really good and lay it out how I took it apart and pay attention. And I kind of could figure out mechanical things pretty easy. I extremely suck when it comes to electronic stuff because I don't understand how that works. How you can talk to someone like we are that far away and have that kind of conversation. I don't understand how that works, but anyhow, I just kind of winged it and made a lot of mistakes, but I learned my mistakes and then tried to get better from there. It's kind of like building my first chassis. People ask, what'd you copy off? I said nothing. I just said I just kind of knew kind of what I needed. I made a rear end and then I put the motor in that I had, or the short block, and put it in there, and I knew how much room I needed, and I built around it, and I knew how much room I needed for the starter to clear, get starter on off the blower and everything. And so that was just kind of how I built the car. And a lot of people always, when I was young and doing stuff, people would laugh at me. They go, well, your car's not like anybody else. I said, I don't care. I said, it doesn't matter. It's all I have. It's what I have. It's all I have. But then, you go out and you start winning and outrun them, and then they're all mad. Well, but you're not doing what I said. I'm not a follower by no means. Never have been. I'm kind of I jump in both feet and challenge myself to do stuff, and that's kind of how I learned.
When you don't know what you don't know, you're not restricted by the rules, right? You're restricted by the rules, obviously. And when it comes to the technology, I am so glad I've got a team of people on the other side of the glass in here helping me make this connection with you. It's all about the team, right? And that's what building that perfect team is all about. Talk about building your team. It's not just you and Megan and Rachel. You've got a team of people helping Randy Meyer Racing compete.
Yeah, it's right. Sometimes the driver gets all the glory, and that's not really right and stuff. It's definitely a group team effort, and I've got a lot of different people. None of them that work for me full time, but people that become friends of mine, and they want to get away for the weekend, where they want to get away from their job or get away from their little business or get away from their wife or girlfriend and hang out with the guys for a weekend and take a break. And it's kind of like people always ask, how long are you going to keep racing? I said, I need to race to get away from my business because otherwise I burn myself out working. I'll work 7 days a week if I'm not racing. So usually by Thursday, I'm tired of the trucks and I'm ready to go to the racetrack. And then by Sunday night, I'm tired of the race cars and ready to come back. So it was a good mix for me. But I think the thing that, was good for me and my team is the fact that if you look at how we structured this, where I had everything in place and I was doing everything, but then when Megan come along, we was able to take it to the next level because she could take care of the marketing, do some of the stuff that I don't have time for, nor was I very good at. So when you look at all that and how we set it up, and then Rachel become part of the team, working on the car and stuff, and she still works on the car today. If I get in a pinch, I can call her and she'll come to races, and if we're short as crew guy or something, so she's good with that. But between what I have and what Megan brought to the table and Rachel brought to the table, and even my wife, she helps out some. We have a really good package because we pretty much got all the bases covered from marketing to racing to everything that we need to do. So I think that's what's made us a good team. And then I got good people, and I'm pretty picky on who gets to work on the car stuff because you can't run top caliber if you don't have top caliber crew people to go with it.
Right. So how do you find those top caliber crew people? How do you, what do you look for in your next teammate?
Well, we're very fortunate. We have most of the same people we've had for quite some time, but we're always looking to add a couple people every year because nutrition and some of the guys are getting a little older. So we always try to keep a little bit of youth in the team. But, it starts with attitude. I can tell in a couple of minutes, visit with the person if they have the right mindset and a good attitude that we're looking for. Because you can teach somebody if they have an attitude, then they're willing to accept it. But if they come in with the wrong attitude, you're wasting your time and stuff, and they're not going to fit in our program. So, that's the biggest thing. And you can tell that pretty quick. And sometimes you can look at, if you know their parents, you can know kind of where they come from, how well their parents raised them or didn't raise them. And that's where a lot of people have a lot of problems, because a lot of parents have done a poor job raising kids these days, and in every part of the world. And we as a society are paying the price.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the automotive industry too. We're looking, our readers of Shop Owner Magazine, viewers of this podcast, viewers of all of our videos, they're looking for the next team too, and they want people with the right attitude. I know the Shop Squad too is looking for people. Megan, talk about your involvement with the Shop Squad and what you're doing at the track to look to help give people interested in and educated about Shop Squad.
Yeah, well, we have kind of two different areas for Shop Squad. So we do an at-track interaction event with them, and then we also have an online one. So for the online, we do a monthly contest, and we've been able to bring in some of our other racing partners and sponsors, and they have donated products. And so each month, Shop Squad has a website and it's just for automotive students. And so the students can sign up and fill out the form telling why they chose the automotive field to study and what they plan to do after they graduate. And then each month I go through, look at all the submissions, and I will pick a winner. And then each month they get the prize pack. So right now the prize pack includes a Shop Squad rolling stool, an NGK Carhartt tote bag for your tools. And then Boxo Tools has donated a socket set. Gunk donates their hand cleaning degreaser wipes. And then just starting this month, we have a new partner. Lucas Oil is donating their Slick Mist cleaning kits. And so we're always looking to add on new partners. It's just a simple donation of products. And then for us, a team to donate, we give away one ticket to come to any one of our races. And so the winner can come hang out with us in the pits. And we've had a couple of them come this year. And, for some of them, they've never been to a drag race before or to an NHRA race. And so, we always love having them come hang out in the pits, really get their hands dirty. We have them try and help out with the cars, whether it's changing out the NGK spark plugs or something as simple as changing tires, putting air in the tires, checking wheelie bar, anything like that. So that way they can get some hands-on experience, and then something that they could also add on to their resume to help them stand out when they are looking for a career after they graduate. And so at the tracks, we do have an activation where at our trailer, we have a tablet, and anybody that is either a student studying automotive or that is currently a mechanic or a shop owner or that works at a retail store, they can sign up for the Shop Squad if they're not already a member. So we have that free form there. And then we give away prizes at the track too. So a couple of those items we have there that they can be entered to win at the track as well. So really, those two areas are how we're trying to help Shop Squad get some new members into the program and get their hands on all the training videos that NGK and Shop Squad has provided for them, and really try to help them grow the program. But we are focusing more heavily on the student side of it this year, just because that is the next generation of techs, mechanics, shop owners. And so we want to make sure that they are well equipped and they have the right education for when they're ready to step out into the field.
Well, all of us in the aftermarket, representing this portion of the aftermarket, appreciate what you guys do to help bring that excitement every day to the people, certainly the next generation of the industry. Randy, Megan, thanks for joining me today on Shop Squad's Now You Know podcast, and I hope we can talk again soon.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having you.
Thank you. Talk again soon, everybody. Have a great day.